How's it going, everybody? Welcome to one of the worst movies we've seen on this list so far. Um, Ethan and I now know why there has been no more Hulk movies for
Yeah.
many years. So today,
Ugh.
we're going to be talking about The Incredible Hulk, which is truly an incredible film. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, oh yes, it's an incredibly terrible film.
Yeah.
I don't even know where I want to start with this one.
Nobody does. No one does. This movie sucks. Okay, this movie not good in the slightest. And all of you saying that it's good now because of how bad She-Hulk is, no, they're both equally terrible things.
Yeah.
So, this movie came out only like a month after Iron Man, on June 13th, 2008. Feels like from an entirely different time period. Feels like a pre-Spider-Man movie. So
It does.
very interesting. Yeah, I'm actually gonna look up like the budget because seeing the
Yeah,
budget
that-
for like Iron Man compared to this one is just very. I want to see what that is.
Yes, because when we were watching it, it really felt like it was earlier, like made before Iron Man, because it looked a lot similar to like X-Men and Spider-Man. Had a lot of the same feel to it.
Mhm.
And it wasn't. I honestly think. I hope it was lower budget so that they didn't spend a whole bunch of money on this terrible movie.
Okay, so Iron Man had a budget of 140 million.
Are you gonna tell me that it's higher than Iron Man?
This one had a budget of 150 million.
Okay. Well,
So, which one looked better to you, Ethan? Which one do you...
totally not Iron Man. No, of course not. Couldn't be that one. Okay.
Jesus
Okay.
Christ.
I will give it that that Hulk needs more CGI, but you know, they could have hired better actors for this.
Yeah, we'll get
Uh,
into the actors, but like,
Yeah.
so, God, this movie, I will go on record saying that this is Morbius before Morbius. Legit.
It really is.
Watch this movie and then watch Morbius afterward, and they're the exact same movie. I'm not
They-
even kidding.
honest. It really is.
Yeah.
Oh.
So yes,
Yeah.
everybody, we're talking about the Incredible Hulk today. We're reverting back to our old style that we abandoned last episode because we need to go to a lot of negatives for this one.
Oh yeah.
So-
We have far more negatives than there are
Yep.
positives.
So, I'll have you start off. What is your first positive? And I'm gonna assume
Well-
only positive. For this movie.
I think I have two positives maybe, but one thing that this movie, I think the carrying factor of this movie was the action, because the action sequences were really good. I mean, it basically was action. Like, I mean,
Yep.
it's just a bunch of Hulk and Abomination running around and blowing shit up. So
Yep.
that the action movie part of me was like, yeah.
Yeah.
But then, the rest of the movie. But the action was really good. I felt the CGI that they used, I actually liked. But I like the Hulk CGI better than the one we have now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I much prefer this Hulk than the one we have now. Not the actor. I love Mark Ruffalo much better. But the look of the Hulk is
Yeah.
much better in this movie. Another thing I noticed is that Abomination doesn't have his like fin ears.
Yeah, that
so,
was weird.
I don't know why they would change the design, but it's I guess they tried to distance themselves from this movie.
Yeah, I guess so.
But yeah, the action was
Rightfully so.
good. All the explosions and stuff.
Mhm.
That's the only highlight of this movie, I think. So
Mhm. Yeah.
that's my positive.
Yeah, I get that. I put down pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, I
Like,
literally just wrote down good action.
yeah, yeah. It's funny because like there is some scenes like there's really not that much action in this movie, which sucks because that's the
Mhm.
only good part of it. But like the
Yeah.
only two standout action scenes to me were like the one like when he was in the school and he went
Mhm.
outside and those sonic cannons, the
Yeah.
venom sound shit was fired at him. Like that was pretty cool. And then the final fight I thought looked cool, but it happened in like 2 seconds. Like the fight started
Yeah.
and it ended. Again, I've only seen this movie once, but I remember really liking that action scene. Be like, oh, that was so cool. And watching it this time, like, oh yeah, it's done. Oh,
Yeah.
that was fast. So it's just like the movie like has cool shit, and then it just instantly sucks like 2 seconds later. So I can't really
Yeah.
fully say that the action's a positive because like while it does look cool and there are certain parts, it just goes away really fast. So
Yeah.
it's just whack.
Yeah, and I should say this is my first time watching this movie, so I'm not going into
Mhm.
it with any nostalgia or anything. So,
Mhm.
from a first time viewing standpoint, this. Well, I just have some things to reference it, but overall, it's not
Yeah.
worth rewatching, in my opinion.
No, definitely not. I mean, I'm happy I saw it again because it's been a while, but now I know.
Yeah.
Oh, never to watch this one again.
Yeah, I'll say I do like that I watched it because I learned some new things that I didn't know before, but
Mhm.
I would say don't watch it again
Yeah.
because it's not worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really
Ugh.
whack. So,
Yeah.
do you have any other positives you got, or?
Well, I don't think so.
Gotcha.
No, I don't.
Nice. Cool.
Oh.
All right. Oh, this fucking movie, bro. All right. I have one more. Actually, no, two more. I think the soundtrack's pretty good. Like the
Mhm.
music, the beats to it are pretty interesting. Like the opening music was, even though the montage was shit, like the music was popping off. And like
Yeah.
whenever he was
Yeah.
running, like we got like intense music even when like nothing was really happening. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like it was a bop. Like I liked the music a bit. Never gonna hear it again because like Marvel's not really good with musical consistency, but you know,
Yeah.
it still was cool. And they did have one scene where I think it was after he hulked out in like the soda factory or whatever, and like he
Yeah.
was just sitting in like Mexico, like holding out his hands to like, oh boy, and it played the old music from the original Incredible Hulk, like the show that was like in the '60s and stuff.
Oh,
Like
I
it
didn't
played
know
like the
that.
sad Hulk song, so that was pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool. I
Yeah.
didn't know that. That's nice.
hmm Yeah, so I thought that was pretty snazzy. Because if you guys know me, I love musical consistency and shit like that, like leitmotifs and shit. I'm a sucker for that kind of shit. So when that played, I was like, oh, that's pretty snazzy. That's cool. And speaking of the
Yeah.
old show, we got 2 cameos from the people in it. Bill Bixby, who played Bruce Banner, was in like the TV thing he was watching in like the first 5 minutes, so that was cool. And then the guy who
Oh.
played the Hulk was one of the security guys who he bribed with pizza. So that was pretty cool. Cool to see them. Glad they had a cameo. Sucks that they're in this movie, but at least
Yeah.
they're like, hey, remember the good show that was out? Yeah. So
Remember the good versions?
yeah, exactly. That came out in the '60s, so it's like fucking
Oh, no.
cheesy. Like when the '60s show is better than the 2008 movie, that's the problem.
Oh yeah, that's not good.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, that's all I got. That's all
fun.
I have.
All right, well, I'll go into my first mix then. I'd say
Cool.
Blonsky is a mixed for me because overall I think he did a really good job. playing his character. It's weird to see him in She-Hulk. I first saw him in She-Hulk, and now I'm seeing him in this. So it's very different.
Very
because
different,
they act very differently. But I think overall, I think this movie was going for like an action-packed movie, basically. So he really fit that. It's and yep. I said words.
Makes sense.
I think I like how he's driven to keep fighting Hulk. So he just wants to get more and more powerful so that he can, kill the Hulk like he's been assigned to do. And which is weird because in She-Hulk, he brings up how he thought he was the good guy. But in reality, in this movie, he was just... his only goal was to kill the Hulk.
Yep.
He didn't think he was being good or bad. He just wanted revenge. And that's what I think, at least. Because it's really what it felt like. It's not like he was trying to protect anyone. Because you see multiple times he's putting a bunch of people at risk. And then when he's Abomination, he's just killing everyone. Literally everyone he sees. So... But... the Abomination, I think I like his look better in the future.
Oh, definitely.
It's weird with his CGI because I think they try not to focus on his head. Like, his head is tiny when you look at it.
Seriously.
It's just so weird looking, but overall, that's why it's kind of a mixed for me because, he's not the... I don't know. It's just... his Abomination looks weird, and but his acting is really good, and I think he fit the movie very well, I think. So.
Yeah, I get that. I just wish they put the fins on his head this time, really, because then it would look millions of times better. Like, it's so funny, like, just the face thing. Like, I feel if they put those on there, I'd like him more, which is so weird.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, yeah.
It's strange how a good design can make someone make or break your opinion on someone. So
yeah, it's so funny. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with that. Like, I think Tim Roth does a good job, but it's just so funny seeing like him now compared to how he was in this movie, because completely different people. And like, I don't know entirely, but like, he was in control in Abomination, right? Like, he seemed like he knew what he was doing.
He had more control than Banner did.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he was thinking in his right mind, obviously. But I would say he did have control, I think.
Yeah, because he talked a lot more. Like, he kept saying stuff like, oh, General, and, oh, I'm going to kill, you get to watch her die. So it's like...
he definitely knew, to a degree, what he was doing. I think whatever serum they put in him made him more crazy.
Yeah.
But I do think he definitely did have more consciousness than Banner did. And something I learned recently is that the Hulk is a separate identity, where Bruce Banner has a multiple personality disorder, where, like, from abuse in his past or something. I don't know the full details because I'm not a comic nerd or whatever, but
just a movie nerd.
Yeah, just a movie nerd. But yeah, that's something I learned recently. So that good thing I learned that before going into this, because
I didn't
more
know that
knowledge.
Yeah. I had no idea that he had multiple personality disorder, because again, I'm like you, I don't read the comics, so that was cool. That was cool to learn. Like, that makes like a lot more sense now.
Yeah.
That why everyone else is fine. Like, why She-Hulk doesn't have one, or why Abomination doesn't have one. It's just like, oh, that's cool. Like, that makes a lot more sense now, why there's different people. Like, why him and Hulk are two different people. And, like, that's something, like, once you told me that, it made me, like, feel bad because now I'm like, crap. Now I want to like learn more about like him, like his past and
Yeah.
like what the hell happened because we really don't know that much about Bruce Banner really. So
Yeah, he's
It-
kind of
it-
like a. It's weird because he's like this big, well-known character, but he's also
Mhm.
he's often like in the movies he doesn't have his own movie, other
Yep.
than this one. So
Mhm.
most of the time he's just a side character, so we
Mhm.
don't get to see really his development throughout movies. Well, I mean
Yeah.
we do, but it's not focused on him.
yeah. Hmm.
So that
Yeah, which is so weird. Like I
Yeah.
don't like I understand why they don't have another movie. And that's because Universal owns the rights to the Hulk. And
Mhm.
for some reason, I don't know why, but they're like, no, we're not gonna make another one, even though it'll make them so much money. So I don't understand why
Nah, I don't know.
they just don't want Marvel to make another one. It's so weird.
They saw how bad this movie was. And they're like,
Yeah.
no, we ain't doing that again.
Yeah, and I mean, I get it, but at this point now, I mean, I don't want another one now because with the way Hulk's now.
Oh yeah, yeah. Hulk is.
But like, yeah,
yeah, I think
uh,
Hulk's on his way out. So
yeah.
it would just be
unfortunately.
weird to give him a movie now.
Mhm.
But I honestly do wish they had done it sooner because he has like a huge, like interesting like storyline that we don't get to see at all
Mhm.
in like any of the MCU because he's doesn't have his own movie and he's just a side character.
Mhm.
So we don't get to know his past or
Nope.
like, and yeah, it's just really sad, you know, because
Yeah,
we got
really.
this huge character that they're just putting aside and using as
Mhm.
just this destruction tool.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Like I think that like for this movie, I mean, it's fine to tell a story about like, oh, this is what's happening now. But like even in the beginning, like they montaged through how he became the Hulk. And for
Yeah.
people who don't know anything about it, it's like, oh, what? So like it's just if I was watching this for the first time and I had no idea who Bruce Banner was or no idea who the Hulk was, I would be so confused throughout the movie because they don't really explain really that well. Like they do to a degree, being like, oh yeah, it was just a failed like Captain America super soldier thing, even though they never said Captain America. But it's like so brief that you could miss it. So it's just like funny
Yeah.
because you're like, oh yeah, who's this guy? Who's this chick? Who's this general dude? Like what? So it's just it's just weird on its own to be like, oh yeah, this is a Hulk origin movie, even though it's really not. And like,
No,
I'm not
you're
saying
right,
I
yeah.
want there to be a Hulk origin movie now, but
yeah,
like,
like yeah, like what you're saying is when when we started the movie, I mean, it was just an intro title sequence, intro
Mhm.
credits. So I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna start paying attention yet. But then we start seeing
Mhm.
flashes. I'm like, wait, is it showing us the whole movie before
Yeah.
it starts, or what's
Yeah.
happening? So
mhm.
if you weren't paying attention, you would have missed the Hulk's origin, basically.
Yep.
So I mean, they did a terrible job with that because
Mhm.
I would have liked to see that, seen that part.
Mhm.
Like, that's his whole reason for the rest of this movie. That's his
Yeah.
whole reasoning for doing what he does. So
Mhm.
the fact that they put it in a montage at the beginning of the movie
yeah,
just
it's like,
made no sense to me. Like,
No.
it was so dumb. Like,
Mhm.
you're creating a Hulk movie and taking out the part of creating the Hulk.
Yeah, it's
You-
just so stupid.
Ugh.
I don't get it. I think there might be a reason. So like, I think in 2003 they had another Hulk movie.
Oh, did they?
I never saw it because everyone told me it was god awful, so I never watched it.
Mm.
Yeah, 2003. So it came in 2003. It had Eric Bana as Hulk, I guess, or whatever. I don't know. But like, I'm gonna assume that they told his origin more in that movie, and maybe they
Mm.
just didn't want to show it again for some reason, even though it was a new
Maybe.
interpretation. And like, it's weird with that because I mean, sure, it came out like only a couple of years after like that, but it's still a reboot, so you kind of need to say something to a degree of explaining it. Like you can't just have it like a 2-second montage about
Yeah.
everything going on because like when they introduced Spider-Man later on in the MCU, like sure they didn't show like Uncle Ben or anything with the spider, but they still like introduced him in a way that like you understand what happened to him, and it's
Yeah.
like it's not confusing. But in this movie, it's just like, oh yeah, he's Hulk now. How's he Hulk? Don't worry about it. So
Yeah,
it's
I
just-
think they're kind of the same concept. The introduction of Spider-Man in the MCU and this Hulk. If what you're saying, like the 2003 movie, then I would understand why they would. I mean, like, it's recent enough that people like, oh, that's what happened. That's why he's the Hulk. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And I get what that's they could save some of the budget, I guess, but
Yeah.
by doing that. But I don't know. It was just I don't think like Marvel was just not starting out, but they were starting with the live action movies.
Yep.
So I think just because not many people would have watched the 2003 one, I would assume.
Yeah,
So
because again,
you
I've never
can't
seen
re-
it, so
Yeah, like I would. You should. Yeah, the story's not well known enough to just pass it
brush
by
over.
with a montage. Where in Spider-Man's case, it's been shown 2 other times and like
Yeah.
decently close enough together. So that in Spider-Man's case it makes sense, but in this case it doesn't really. I know it. I can assume what they were going for is like, oh, people have already seen this. We don't need to put it in again.
Yeah.
But I think they should have because
Oh, definitely. Especially for like an
Yeah.
origin movie, and this is the only Hulk
Definitely.
movie that takes place. So
yeah,
it's like it's so stupid, and I don't know. It's just really bummy because like I want to know more about him, but we never
Oh,
do.
yeah.
And even to this day, we don't know much about Bruce Banner's past or anything, which I just think is so weird. Like when you said about the multiple personality, like I didn't know that, and like when you said
Yeah.
he was abused by his dad, I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. So it's just like it sucks because like damn, like I love Marvel, but I don't pay attention to the comics. I just don't care enough. So it's like I'm not gonna really like I don't want to go to the comics to figure shit out. Like I want them to explain how things are in
Yeah.
the movies. So it's just really bummy that it's just like, yeah, nah.
and it's
You'll
weird
never know.
I've never thought about the Hulk as being a main character really, because it never like crossed my mind, because it's like, oh, he's just this scientist who became the Hulk, but in reality has a much deeper backstory, and I never
Yeah.
I never knew that, so I really wish they had gone deeper into his past to
Yeah.
pull that out. But
Mm.
oh, I do think that in She-Hulk they might have mentioned it, like, oh, Bruce hasn't had the best past or something. I don't know. I feel like they might have mentioned it, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, but
But-
even then, like, it wasn't big enough that I'd remember it, because I don't...
Yeah, exactly.
I don't. So,
Yeah.
it's weird. What I wish that they'd do is that, they could make another Hulk movie, like, taking place between Infinity War and Endgame. That's what I'd want to happen. Like, I
Yeah,
think that'd be
kinda-
cool.
Kinda
Because
like
in
what
that
they did
way...
with Black Widow.
Yeah, exactly. Because
Yeah.
I think that would be awesome. Like, then that could be the last Hulk movie, because I'm pretty sure he's not going to stick around much longer.
No.
Because they're going to make way for She-Hulk now, unfortunately. But I think that would be the perfect opportunity to, like, explain, like, oh, his past, explain the multiple personality disorder thing, and finally show, like, how exactly he was able to merge Banner and Hulk into one being. Like, I think
Yeah.
that would be, like, the perfect movie
Yeah.
to explain everything. So, I'd
Yeah,
wish they'd do
I'm
that.
Now looking back on all the movies, I'm realizing that he has a lot of off-screen things that we don't get to see, and it's weird that I don't question when things like this happen. It's
Yeah,
it's weird
until now.
yeah, because like we didn't get to see Smart Hulk like we didn't get to see that transition.
Mm.
I think that was Endgame, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
He just like showed up.
yeah, he just
Like,
showed
yo, I'm
up
smart now.
as Smart
It's like,
Hulk.
what?
They literally used the blip as an excuse to Smart Hulk now. Like
Yep.
I don't know.
Mhm.
This they've done Hulk. I don't know.
Very dirty. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Uh,
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's just like thinking about it now. It's really like Jesus. Hulk's a main character, really,
Yeah.
but he's not. Like he barely does anything in anything that he's in, and this is his
I know.
only movie. And unfortunately, his only movie fucking sucks. So it sucks. As he's such an interesting character, and he has such interesting things going on with him, but like they either just completely ignore it or in this case do a shitty job with it. So it
Yeah.
just is really like that's why I want at least like one more Hulk movie made by like actual Marvel to like explain the rest of him, because I
Yeah.
think that would be perfect. But unfortunately, I don't think we're ever gonna get that because Universal just doesn't want.
Yeah.
So, and
Yeah,
I
I
don't
know,
want there
and
to be
it's-
like a World War Hulk movie either. So,
Yeah, that. I mean, that could be interesting on like its own, but
mm-hmm.
again, it's weird because most of the Hulk, he's like this violent brute, you know. So
Mhm.
the only thing that you'd really see out of a Hulk movie is action, action, action.
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
it's weird because he's such a interesting character that a lot of people don't do anything with.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just weird and sad
Yeah,
that he
very.
doesn't get to flesh out his whole character. But
Mm-hmm.
at this point, like you said, leave it be at this point because he's already leaving, and you don't want to make a prequel movie this late because
Yeah, exactly.
you've already seen his character so much,
Mm-hmm.
and then you saw what happened with Black Widow. They
Yeah, that
took it
didn't
way out
turn
of that
out
time
well.
slot
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
put in a bunch of confusing shit.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah. But I don't know. Like again, like that's just the only Hulk movie I'd want to see like happen. And I feel like if they made it like now, I'd be cool with it. But like if
Yeah.
they wait like until like after the new Avengers movies, I'd be like, what the no, that's way too late. No. So
Yeah, if they do it like they did with Black Widow, they waited till they killed her off, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, people want more." Oh, well,
Mhm.
they just it feels like they
Yeah.
threw that in just as, "Oh, don't worry, you can have another one."
Mm-hmm.
So,
No,
yeah,
it's
if they
just
do
weird.
that, then
Yeah.
I don't want it. But
No. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
it's
And speaking of the Hulk in this movie, he's like the mix to me because like the actual Hulk, it's
Mhm.
funny because I like nowadays everyone's talking about Hulk right now because they want the old Hulk back. They want the old Hulk. They hate the new Hulk. And
Mhm.
I don't know what camp you're in, but I'm in the camp where like I enjoy what the new Hulk has, like because he has a lot more character now. I
Yeah.
wish that they'd explain how the hell he became Smart Hulk and shit. I wish they'd explain all that.
yeah,
But like, I really do like the old Hulk, like all the Hulk smash and shit like that. Oh, big monster dude, whatever. I think that shit's cool. But this version of him, like, it's kind of boring. It gets old after a while. So,
yeah,
like, that's why like whenever he was in an Avengers movie, it was fine because he had other people to bounce off of. But in this
Yeah.
movie, like, Hulk isn't really in it, and when he is, it's just the same exact thing over and over again, and it gets old. So
yeah. That's
I'm
one of
you go.
the. You go.
Okay. And that's why like whenever someone says like, "Oh, I want the Hulk from like the Incredible Hulk back," I'm like, "No, you don't. You're just saying that because you don't like the new one." Like, I get if you don't like anyone doesn't like the new one because I can agree. Like some shit that is kind of weird to me, but I'm cool with them. But like the old Hulk, like in this movie, just sucks. So I don't know.
I think that it's weird to say, but I think Hulk, they had to change Hulk because in the original Avengers, it was more action heavy, less comedy, more action.
Yeah.
But as the MCU evolved, it became more comedy heavy. So you can't have this character who's just about violence and destruction in a comedy movie, really. Like there was that one time, in the first Avengers when, Hulk just punches Thor, and that's funny.
Yep.
But how that's gonna get old fast. So you have to
Put it in now.
I think they just had to change him with the times, I guess. But
yeah,
like you said, I guess the people arguing for old Hulk back, I don't think it would fit anymore.
Yeah.
Like he just doesn't have a place in the new MCU, I should say. But I did enjoy the old Hulk, but like I said before, that gets old quickly. Just because his whole character is no talking, roaring, and smashing a bunch of things. So
yeah. Like I think the most interesting Hulk was in Ragnarok. Like that was the most interesting version of him. And it's just it sucks because everyone is just complaining constantly about Hulk, and it just bothers me because everyone being like, "Oh, how'd we go from this to this?" And I'm like, you guys are stupid. Like it's called character development. Like it's do you really want this forever? Because I'm sorry, watching this movie, sure, the action was cool, but if we got 30 Hulk movies of just that, it would get really, really old. So I'm happy with where he is now, but I just wish we'd have more of an explanation of how that happened. But it's just as of Hulk in this movie, I don't want to see him again now.
Yeah, I agree, but I do think there might be some circumstances where it could be okay for the old Hulk to come back because in She-Hulk, in the first episode when they got in the car crash, he had that device on to keep him as Smart Hulk, which I don't remember the reasoning for him
because
having
when
to need that.
When he snapped. It destroyed his arm, so that's why.
Okay, and that was to keep him from going to the old Hulk, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So, in the car crash, when that device breaks, I wish I would have seen more of the old Hulk, but again, that I don't think I would have liked to see it in the show. I think it would have been cool to see in a movie, but not in a 30-minute comedy show. So
yeah, exactly.
There are some circumstances where that would be cool to see.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But don't keep him as old Hulk because that just wouldn't work.
Yeah, I'm cool with him going the ragefulness again. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Cool to see. But I wouldn't want it to be a whole movie of that because that would be super old. But if Smart Hulk decided okay, I'm gonna let out some of my rage and start beating the shit out of people, that would be super cool. If he'd if he let out a giant roar and started out beating the crap out of people, I think that'd be awesome. Because then it would be okay, I have become both halves in one for real, instead of it just being Banner, but he looks like Hulk. Because we'll get to all the shit that he does later on, but in Endgame he really doesn't do any fighting at all. So I think it would be cool. In the first episode of She-Hulk, I thought it was cool when he was fighting. That was really cool, and I want more of that. But I want it to be a full merging of the two halves, where it's him fighting as the Hulk but being Banner. I think that'd be cool, and I don't want it to just be the Jekyll Hyde shit, where it's oh yeah, boom, two different people. I'm glad that now it's one, but I wanted them to fully embrace it instead of it just being one or one.
Yeah.
Alright, so that was a little bit. That was a half-hour tangent there. So let's get back to this movie. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What is your next thing you had to talk about if you had any?
For mixed, let's see. Okay, so the Stan Lee cameo, I'm mixed on, because normally Stan Lee is just amazing by himself, but I think they did way too much setup for that. Like the whole, he cut his hand, the blood dripped into a bottle. We watched this bottle get filled up and shipped for like 5 minutes.
Yep.
Just for it to be a Stan Lee cameo.
Yeah.
Now, a Stan Lee cameo I am perfectly fine with. I am not complaining about that. I am complaining about the build-up to that.
Yeah.
Where you think, oh, this could be something. What's going to happen to the person who drinks the Hulk blood?
Yeah.
Nah, it's just Stan
it's
Lee
just
who
Stan
drinks
Lee,
it.
yeah. Yeah.
Like, you set up this whole thing just for Stan Lee to drink it and, you know, drop the bottle. And that was it. We didn't even get to see what happened to him.
Did he die? Like, did he die?
I don't think so. I don't know. They brought it up once, and I think that's how they found him. But
yeah,
they could have done that like 2 separate things. I don't like that they put the Stan Lee cameo in there. Just you know, like they put it in the middle of something that's actually important to the story.
Yeah.
Which just took away the importance of it, I feel like. Because I don't know. That's why it's mixed. It's just because they made a cameo out of something that's important to the story. So
yeah, I get that.
That's my only complaint with it. And you know, they didn't show anything or any consequence to him drinking it. So
it was just him being like,
that's
oh boy. That's gotta do it.
Yeah, that's literally what he does. He's like, oh, drops the bottle and we cut away from it. That's it. So I think that's my only complaint with that part. But
gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know.
Nah, I get what you're saying. Do you have any more mixed, or is that it?
I think that was my last mix. Let me check. Yeah, that was my last mix.
Alright, cool. So now, we got all the negatives, baby. This is so...
Yeah.
So, again, this movie sucks. Not a good movie. So...
Yep. So sad, but...
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
well.
I don't want to delve into the main problem yet, and I'm pretty sure you know what that is, Edward Norton. The plot, I guess, we'll start off with, because that's my first negative. The plot's just all over the place, but also very simple, which I think is so weird. Like, the plot of this movie is legit just, Ross is trying to get Hulk back to turn him into a weapon for the military.
Yeah,
but
and you don't. I honestly don't believe that anyone would pick that up in the first half of the movie.
Nope, I didn't know until the last 5
no,
seconds.
Like, we have no idea. Well, I guess, I mean, they're like, take him alive and stuff, but this whole time they're just shooting at the Hulk. That's the first half of the movie. They are shooting at the Hulk. And you're looking at it like they're trying to kill him, which would make sense. And then, once he goes
that's what I thought was happening.
Yeah, me too. Because they were using those, sonic cannons or whatever, and Betty's yelling, stop, you're killing him, and he's like, whatever. I genuinely thought they were just trying to kill him. And then that made sense. Yeah, and then you get to the scene where he's getting wheeled out on the stretcher, and he's like, if you took him away from me, I'm gonna kill you. So you're like, wait, you wanted the whole... It just... it's all over the place, like you said. And it really did remind me of Morbius, just because the plot made no damn sense.
Yep. Again, this is Morbius before Morbius.
It really is. You got the two of the same kind
budget
fighting, and then you got the love interest on the side. It doesn't. Oh my god, this.
Morbius's budget was $75 million.
And somehow they managed to make it look better than the Hulk.
Yeah, I know, like, what?
Oh my god.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, that's... It's just that you have this huge budget movie that you turn into absolute dog shit.
Yep.
Oh, like, I don't even have words, man. It's so bad.
Yeah, I know. It's just Jesus
they
Christ.
took-
And
No.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
Oh, okay. It's just the plot is so hard to follow that you have no idea what's going on. There's literally this bitch at the beginning. You never see her again.
Yeah.
Oh, like there's so many things they throw in there that is completely useless.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like when they were buying that truck, she's like pulls that camera out of her ass. Is like, hey, smile. What was the payoff for that? She literally just watched the camera die while looking at the picture at the end of the movie. That was the payoff of that.
Yeah.
Like, there was no point to that scene because it was over in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh. There is just so many pointless scenes. I can't even remember them all.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many. Like, it lingers. Like, the camera lingers on them, like, staring longingly into the distance. Like, it cuts back to see, like, their reaction, but it lingers for, like, 10 seconds. You're like, okay, stop. We don't need to. So it's just, like, and so stupid.
Yeah, there's, like, and there's scenes without context, too. You just cut to a scene where Blonsky's in the bathroom, looking like he's about to fucking die, just staring at himself in the mirror. Then he gets the spine, like his spine, like pops out or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, that's not even him turning into Abomination. He has to go to Mr. Blue or whatever to get his Abomination.
Yep.
Like, that scene had nothing to do with the plot other than, oh, he's not okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, thank you, movie. You could have, thrown that in somewhere else. It didn't need its own whole scene. But, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's just all over the place.
Seriously. And it's funny, because again, this plot shouldn't be that convoluted, and it doesn't seem that convoluted, but then you watch the movie and you're like, what the fuck is happening? I have no idea what's going on.
Like, we're sitting through this movie, and I keep saying, like, oh, now I know why people didn't watch this movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh my god.
And that's why Marvel never talks about it.
I know. Like, if I had known it had MCU ties in it, I would have watched it sooner. But I didn't know that. That just shows how bad this movie is. They didn't even bring up the part that Tony Stark's in it. Like,
yep.
They didn't even bring that part up.
No.
It is like they tried. I don't even know if they tried to bury this movie, because I think it just buried itself. Honestly,
seriously,
like no one fucking watched it.
Yeah. And that's why it's like an interesting one to me. Like, the movie, awful, but I think it's so funny that, like, there's barely any mention of it. Like, every other movie, they can at least allude to, but, like, more than once. This one, like, it's only been referenced, like, the last year, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, in Civil War, Ross shows back up again, but they don't mention anything about the Hulk. It's just like, oh, here I am. And he's, like, pretty much like a brand new character. Like, he acts completely different.
I had no idea he was in the MCU prior to that movie. So, like, they it's so bad.
Yeah, so it's just funny. And, like, besides Ross, like, in What If, they had that little short about it, but that didn't really do anything.
Honestly, that is the only part I knew of this movie.
Yeah.
And it was it wasn't even the actual scene.
No.
Like, that's the only part of that movie I knew. Yeah. And it wasn't even from the movie.
No. And then, like, of course, recently now with, like, Abomination coming back and it being the same actor and stuff. But that's legit it. Like, it's just, it's so funny. So that they just legit just never talk about this movie. And it's just so weird. Like, this is legit
Yeah.
what people call the black sheep of the MCU, because this one just really doesn't feel like a Marvel movie. Like, it feels like it was made by Sony. Like, seriously. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just so whack.
Yeah. I realized that I passed over a mixed. Going back to the intro, like the opening. Normally we don't go through and watch all of the like extra bonus stuff. But, it just popped up on the screen. It was like, "Oh, alternate opening." I'm like, "Okay, the one they used was absolute garbage, so let's look at this one." And now that I think about it, if you replaced that with, like, fixed it up,
This one.
obviously, because it can tell it was scrapped before it got to the, big screen, because, they did another opening.
Yeah.
But I like this better because it shows, I do believe that in the comics, when he discovered that he was the Hulk and he was, like, doing all this destruction, like, he was trying to find a cure and all that, but then it got to the point where he's like, "Oh, there's no cure, like, I can't do anything about it." So he does try to kill himself. He tries to shoot himself. In the comics, I believe, he shoots himself, like, he puts the gun in his mouth, pulls the trigger, and, like, the Hulk spits out the bullet or whatever.
Yeah.
So in this alternate opening, he goes to, like, Alaska or something,
Yeah, like
and he just goes up to a mountain, and he pulls out a gun, and he was gonna do that, but the Hulk stops him. So I think if they had done that, but obviously tidied it up a bit, because there's still
made it not the opening.
yeah, like, there was no context to why he was there in the first place. So, like, if they, it's weird where I'm saying that they could have done the montage and then this part, but
Yeah.
like, if you had known, like, prior knowledge to why he was the Hulk, I think this opening would have worked.
Yeah, like, it
But-
would have hit more.
Yeah, it's weird that I'm shitting on the opening montage and then saying, "Oh, it might have worked here," but
Yeah. But no,
I
it
think-
it makes sense.
yeah, I think this works better than what they actually did, because because this has no, like, prior connections needed for this opening, where he opens in Brazil or wherever he is. He has, like, a whole life there,
Yeah.
so, like, it just weighing out the. I honestly feel like the alternate opening would have worked better, but
Yeah.
obviously clean it up a bit and put it in. But I don't know, I feel like it would have worked better just because I feel like it follows the Hulk more. Like,
Yeah, I get
I don't
that.
know, like, mostly, I don't know most of the comic stuff, so I don't know if he went through this whole meditation thing or whatever. But it's weird to see him in the beginning just getting absolute fucking punched in the face. And it's like,
Yeah.
don't turn. Don't
by
turn.
like the weird belly guy.
Yeah. Like, you gotta practice your breathing there, man.
Yeah.
Like, fucking moving his belly in the weirdest fucking ways.
Yeah, I've never seen
It's just-
something like that before.
No, I honestly haven't seen that before, so it's very strange to see. But it's weird because you're seeing him doing, like, martial arts. He's fighting, and he's like, it's not something he should be doing, because if you've seen him, like, he can't control it.
Yeah.
So when it doesn't make sense. It's just
Yeah, I get that.
makes it
Like,
more confusing.
Yeah,
So,
like,
like,
if he just studied, like, the breathing techniques and, like, anger control, that'd be fine. But, like, yeah, I agree with you, the martial arts doesn't make sense.
Yeah. It was just weird for the opening to have that.
Yeah, seriously. And especially to, again, like, be like, oh yeah, what the hell's going on? Like, why is he on the run? Like, why is he here? Like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
Like, you can obviously put together, like, oh, he's on the run because he's a monster. But at the same time, it's
Yeah.
like, oh, but why is it so weird? Like, why does it seem like he's peaceful here? And why does it seem like everything's going well? Like, he has a dog, he has his Brazilian chick he wants to fuck. Like it's like it just seems weird. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's just it's weird because it doesn't seem like he's coming from a situation where he almost killed his whatever Betty was to him, and like it doesn't feel like he feels bad or anything.
Mm-mm.
So it was weird for him to like I'm gonna epic segue right here, but it feels weird for him to go back to Betty and that relationship just like they just like rekindled it right away, where this man has been away for however long, has a whole new life, comes back and he's like, oh, Betty. I mean, like, honestly, and then she leaves her boyfriend that she's with now, like, instantly.
Yep.
One look at him, he's like, nah, fuck this guy, I'm going for him.
Yep.
And, like, this poor dude. And it's weird because like, the first time I saw him was in Modern Family, so when I see him in this, I just can't take him seriously.
Yeah. I get that.
So seeing him in this movie, it's just so funny. But like, how long has she been with this guy that he knows who her father is? Like this big military dude.
Yep.
And then it just doesn't make sense. She just left him instantly for a relationship that almost killed her.
Yep.
And then oh my god. And it's funny because the boyfriend's like is the one who told the general that they were there. So
yeah,
it's just their whole relationship with that guy is just so fucking weird and
it's
pointless.
So pointless.
Yeah. Oh
God. Did he even have a name? I don't know. I don't think so.
No, I have no idea.
Not that I remember.
I think they literally said, "Oh, she's with this guy now." Yeah, he's pretty cool. He's a nice guy.
That's it. I don't even know his name.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if he didn't have a name in this whole movie.
Yeah, me neither. God, this movie
He's just
sucks.
listed under boyfriend.
Yeah. Okay, what else do I have? So the other villains in this movie, I think there's like 3 pretty much. Like, sure, Abomination's the main one. Mr. Blue. What the fuck?
Yeah.
What? Like,
yeah, like you see him doing the encrypted messages in the beginning. Like, okay, first of all, you've never met this guy, and you're sending him your blood samples.
Yeah.
That's a bit weird.
Just a little bit. Just a tad.
Yeah, just a tad weird.
Yeah.
And they meet him. This guy's fucking crazy.
Remade
like,
all of his blood. All of the blood.
Yeah, he had like a fucking room full of blood.
Yeah, like how?
Like how I know, like, and it was all in different containers too. So you know he's just mass producing this stuff with no.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was just so weird. Bro goes into his lab. He's like, "Where'd you get all this blood?"
And
yeah,
we never
he's
find
like,
out.
They did. The first time he said test subjects, I honestly thought he meant human subjects because what the fuck? Like, this man is honestly crazy. He's like, oh yeah, all the other test subjects died, and we just glossed right over that for 2 seconds. I'm like, wait. What do you mean by test subjects?
Yeah.
And it's
probably
like,
all the college
you see
students.
that, yeah, they're just the college students. Because you see his like whole table set up. I'm like, what are you doing? Why would you need that in a college, like at all?
Yeah.
And also, how do you have a room full of blood at a college?
Yeah, seriously.
Like, it doesn't make sense. And then you go back and he's just crazy.
Yep, and then like the blood leaked
like,
on his head. He's like, ooh.
Yeah. Like, he's like, oh, but we could get a Nobel Prize for this. No,
like,
we need to fucking destroy it. You see what happens to me? We'll fucking destroy that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was also weird. I don't know if you just said this, but the like he gets stabbed in the head or whatever,
Yeah.
and his forehead just goes, and then we never see him again. Like, what the fuck
Nope.
was that?
No.
What
we
does
never
that do?
see him again, so
Yeah,
so fucking weird.
like, okay, did he die? Did he get like
Mhm.
abomination infection or whatever? Like, what
Yeah.
what happened?
We don't know. He just we never
Yeah,
see him
and then-
again. So.
And it was the creepiest shit because then he smiled.
Yep.
Like, what the fuck was that?
I don't know, bro. It was insane.
Oh my
I
God.
don't know. I don't know if he's like supposed to be like a comic character and they were setting something up for him. Like
I wonder.
I don't know. I'll look it up now because like I'm assuming because his head was making weird shit, so I'm assuming that was probably something.
I would hope that they were trying to set something up and it just never
Yeah.
happened.
Mm-hmm.
Opposed to that's how they killed people, because
Oh.
that was weird. Like,
Oh.
It-
Okay. He was supposed to be somebody.
okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Uh-huh.
But
Hold on, I'll send you a picture that I just found of what he was
Okay.
supposed to look like.
it's gonna look.
Yeah, so
nothing
he's
like-
supposed to be the leader who's a Hulk villain.
Oh God!
Yeah.
All right, well,
So
that's
that makes
interesting.
sense. Yeah, so I think that's why they made his head be weird because they're trying to turn him into that.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So for all you guys, he just looks like a dude with a gigantic forehead and he's green. that's pretty
Yeah.
much what he is.
Yeah, I guess that would make sense why he's so crazy too. But
Yeah.
oh. That's weird.
Yeah, but again, they never ever do anything with him. We never hear about him
Yeah.
again. To this day, we still have never heard anything about him. They haven't even mentioned him. Like we've seen Abomination now. Took us a while to see him again, but like
I wonder if
this
they,
guy we never know about.
I wonder if they bring him up. It'd be. I mean, with She-Hulk at this point, I wouldn't even care if they brought him in because
Mm-hmm.
wow, you actually did an original idea for once. So
Yeah, I know.
I mean that would be cool that they like
Mhm.
bring him back or whatever. But it's been so long that I don't think they would.
Yeah, like I mean, they brought Abomination back, so maybe.
Well, yeah, but that kind of fit in though because
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
at the end you don't know if they take him in or whatever because they just
Mhm.
leave him there. But
yeah.
it would make sense that he got arrested and put in
Mhm.
whatever the cage. So
Yeah. That's the other thing for like Abomination. Like at the end of this movie, like Betty's like, "Oh no, don't kill him for some reason," and then Abomination's just lying there unconscious while Hulk leaves, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
"But he's gonna wake up."
Yeah,
and like,
what
who's
plan
gonna
do you
stop
have
him?
for this?
Yeah, it's like who's gonna stop him? And I
Yeah,
don't
like,
think
you
they have the
literally-
technology to turn him back into Blonsky yet. So it's just like,
no, it's weird, but I mean it makes sense. I like the way that they brought him back though because it actually made sense.
Oh yeah.
The only thing I don't like
Mhm.
when they brought him back is the fact that he could have escaped at any time by breaking his cell, by
Yeah,
turning into
yeah.
Abomination. Like, why didn't he do that before? You know, like
Yeah.
he didn't instantly just go back to being, oh, I want to be a good guy now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, this man just went on a killing spree.
He's
He's not gonna instantly be like, oh, I want to be good now.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
Like, I understand why he's good now in She-Hulk because it's been so many years. But
Yeah.
like, and when he first got taken in, it's like, no, the dude's definitely gonna be pissed. So it's
Yeah.
like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, they like, it's just he could have broken out at any time. I think that's my only problem with it is that
Mm-hmm.
they made it so that it didn't make sense.
Yep.
Cause literally in She-Hulk they say, "Oh, see, he could have left at any time."
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, well, why would you say that? Because now you have a
Yeah.
problem here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if he could have left at any time, he would have.
Yeah. So,
So-
why didn't he? Why didn't he? Who knows?
Yeah, it does. It doesn't. It.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh my god, Marvel's
This
just.
movie.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Oh
I don't
my
know.
god.
What else you got?
Let's see. Oh. Well. Let's
Besides
see.
besides Edward Norton, we'll go to him after.
Yeah. Wait. What? What? Huh? Sorry, you cut out for a second.
Oh, sorry. I said like besides Edward Norton because we'll do him last.
Okay. I thought. I guess. Did I talk about Tony Stark yet? No, I didn't. I just said
No,
he can't.
not
Shut
yet.
up. But
Yeah.
I honestly, I'm gonna say it again. I didn't know that this had MCU tie-ins.
Mhm.
So when he showed up at the end, I thought that was pretty cool
Yeah.
because it's like, oh, they're actually making this, like, they're forming the MCU now.
Yeah.
Which it's weird because I had no idea that Hulk was even canon to the MCU whatsoever. I
Yep.
thought it was just they made a movie and then they completely changed it just because of the actor.
Mhm.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
But and it was also weird because he came in. He's like, "Oh yeah, we're forming a team," and I was like, "Wait a minute, wasn't he against the Avengers in the first place?
Yeah.
That was like his
Yeah.
whole thing. Like he didn't want to form the Avengers or didn't
Mhm.
want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
So I thought that was weird, but Hulk was just so buried that I'm guessing that a lot of people didn't see that.
Yeah.
So it was easily glossed over. So
Mhm.
I was
I'm
okay with
assuming a
Tony
lot of
Stark
people
being
didn't
in
watch
there.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Best part of the movie.
Yeah,
Was the
honestly.
2 seconds.
Tony Stark showed up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
For
and
legit
I
2 seconds.
yeah, and I'm pretty sure there was some Stark Industries stuff at the beginning. So
Yeah,
that
there
tied it
was.
in too, because it was like all the same logos and stuff. So.
Yeah, and they also talked about Shield too. So.
Oh yeah, they did. I forgot about that.
Yeah, but that was.
I forgot a lot about this movie, and we just watched it like an hour
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah. But yeah. That's
All right.
pretty
Well, I
much
think that's all I had for negatives. So.
cool. All right. Before we get into the elephant in the room, I say Ross as a villain. Like we kind of went over him. He sucked very bad. He was just a generic like army guy, and he wanted his daughter safe, but also wanted her dead. And it was just like, okay, what do you want, bro? And it was just he was stupid. And I'm glad that they like took him out for a while and then changed his character to be a completely different person. Because in this
Yeah.
one, he's just so freaking annoying that every time he's on screen, you just want to shoot him yourself. So.
Yeah. It's funny
I
because
don't know.
like the whole end of the movie, you cut to his face and it looks like he's about to cry.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Like I kept making that joke the whole time.
Yeah.
Like this man is like, "Look what you've done. What did you do?" And you turn to him and he's like, it's so funny. But yeah.
Yeah.
That-
Rest in peace, though. Rest in peace, because his
Oh,
actor
yeah.
did die a couple of years ago.
I did
but-
kind of. I felt bad that I was making those jokes, and then you're like, "Oh, he's dead, right?" Oh shit.
It's okay. He would laugh. He would laugh. It's okay.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh god. But yeah. So, and apparently, like in the comics, he becomes like the Red Hulk. So that's.
Oh
something,
yeah,
guess.
I think I knew that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, unfortunately, we're never gonna get that because he's dead.
Mhm.
But like, I just think that's something. So,
Yeah.
yeah. What else? Liv Tyler sucks. I hate her anyway because I don't know. She's an awful actress. Like
yeah.
I've seen her in Lord of the Rings, and I hate Lord of the Rings, so hated that.
Yeah,
and her in this
I
movie
think
is just so annoying.
For me, it's just the way she talks. It's just like she's
Yeah.
always whispering, but at a normal talking level.
Yep.
So it's so weird. Oh yeah, forgot about this random throw-in scene. The crazy taxi driver. Like, what
Oh,
the
yeah.
fuck was that scene for? And then you actually get to see her yell. I was like, hang on,
Yeah.
no, still don't like you.
Yeah, and
Like-
then Edward Norton's like, "Hey, well, I have tricks to control your anger." It's like, shut the fuck up. Like, shut
It was funny because she's like, nah, you shut up. And like we were making jokes about her this whole movie, like she was the next MJ because
Yeah.
like she literally was dating this dude and fucking left him in 2 seconds. So
Mm-hmm.
oh my god.
But MJ.
And then this whole time, yeah, I know it was weird because MJ was actually better. It was like, yeah, and then they stay at the same house or whatever, and she's trying to fuck him the whole time.
Yep. And he's like, no, can't get too excited.
Can't get too excited. Yeah, and then he lays down right on her tit, and it's like,
yeah,
okay,
I know.
I guess that works too.
Next best thing.
just take a rest right on there. That's fine.
Yeah. But yeah, she sucked in this movie, and again, we never see her again, except for that little thing in What If, but besides that, we've never seen or talked about her again, for good reason, I'd think.
Yeah. It's weird that they don't bring up, even in the, they don't bring up the Hulk movie at all. No. So, it's weird that you have the Hulk and they don't bring up this movie. Yeah. I think it's trying to, it's the fact that they're different actors or whatever, but they wouldn't bring that up, so that would make sense. But it'd be nice to know that those were connected movies.
Yeah, exactly, because most people definitely wouldn't know.
Yeah, I had no idea, so just
yeah. It's I don't know. It's just very weird. All right, anything else to talk about, or should we get into Edward Norton?
I think we're good.
Alright, so clearly 2 different actors have played the Hulk in the MCU, and this is the first major recasting, because sure, we get to War Machine, he changed actors, but this is the big one, because the lead of a movie and one of the main characters got his actor changed. And it's weird because when Terrence Howard went to Don Cheadle, when we just watched Iron Man last week, I actually preferred Terrence Howard to Don Cheadle. Yeah. We'll have to rewatch those again, of course, to see if he really did a better job. But in this one, it's no question that Edward Norton sucks as the Hulk. He awful casting. I don't know how they did that. I'm assuming maybe because Fight Club did good, and they're like, oh, Edward Norton is good in Fight Club, so let's have him in this movie. But,
he can fight.
Yeah, exactly. But, he just sucked in this movie so bad. So, I am insanely happy that they cast Mark Ruffalo and replaced him, because he is a million times better.
Yeah, I 100% agree. It's weird, because I like Edward Norton's Hulk design better than Mark Ruffalo's, but I like Mark Ruffalo much better.
Yeah.
So it's so funny, but honestly, Mark Ruffalo is a much better Hulk, in my opinion. So watching this movie, I'm I honestly forgot he was the Hulk. At one point, I definitely forgot he was the Hulk. So he's just it's just weird, because I think even I think the fighting tied into that too. At the beginning, he's fighting people, but not as the Hulk. So it didn't make sense.
So it's like what? No, you can't do that.
Yeah. It's just all around bad casting, I think. I mean, Blonsky was good. Blonsky was good. But other than that, I hated all the other castings.
Yeah, especially. And it's just funny because Edward Norton, I feel again, you're supposed to like your main character, and he just is nothing in this one. And again, it's not I mean, it is writing, of course, but it's also he just doesn't feel like a main character. He feels like he works better as a side character. So it's following him the whole movie. I honestly can't remember a single thing that he said in the movie besides that joke on the taxi. That was it. He didn't even talk that much.
Yeah, and it's weird. So, I think I made a comment at the beginning of the movie, they were focusing on the Brazilian girl.
Yeah.
And then he was in that scene, but we didn't know that. If you weren't paying attention, you wouldn't have noticed that he was in that scene. His face was literally blurred out of the scene.
Yeah.
So, he just has side character energy, He doesn't have. I don't think he just can't be a main character. It didn't work for him in this movie. So, I don't know. It just honestly, he just has this generic face, in my opinion, that he
Yeah,
just
definitely.
blends in with the surrounding crowd. So it's
Yeah.
just it's weird. I don't know,
Mhm.
man.
Yeah, me neither. And like for Mark Ruffalo, like again, like I feel like if written well and they did a really good job somehow, that he could do a movie on his own. Like he definitely
Yeah.
could. He is a great actor and he's a great
Oh,
Hulk,
yeah.
so I think he'd do a good job. In this movie, again, if it was Mark Ruffalo, I think I'd like it a lot more because he would definitely do better. Like 1,000% he'd do better. So it's just like comparing the two. It's like there's no question. Like there's no question who's better. So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just so weird watching this movie and be like, damn. I wish you were Mark Ruffalo, because then this movie would definitely be millions of times more enjoyable. Because Edward Norton, the
Yeah.
whole movie, is the same person, and he's just like not the same person. I don't know how to say it. Like he has the same face the entire movie. Like he doesn't
Yeah.
emote at all. He just looks so like
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
confused.
yeah. I get what you're saying, yeah. Like, he
Nice.
doesn't... yeah, like you said, he doesn't... he barely shows emotions. So, I think the only emotion we get to see from him is when he turns into the Hulk.
Yeah.
So... Oh, yeah, I just remember there was that one scene, like at the campus when he got locked in. Then you just see him up against the glass, like he's
Yeah.
pulling his chin in.
Oh
He
yeah.
looks like he's like trying to take a huge shit. It's fucking hilarious. Like that was your struggling face. Like, come on.
Yeah, I know. Like, come on, bro. Like, it just...
It was
And
so-
again, like, Edward Norton, I don't think's a bad actor. But, like, in this movie, it's just like, dude, did you try? Like, it feels like he didn't try at all.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's just... Edward Norton is just not a good Hulk, and, well, Bruce Banner. He's not a good Bruce Banner at all. And, like, even in like future movies, like the two Avengers movies, like the first one, Age of Ultron, you get to see like the scientific mind of Bruce Banner and how he's a scientist. Now he's like a nerdy,
Yeah.
outcast scientist, and again, Mark Ruffalo plays that
Yeah, yeah,
extremely
yeah.
well. But in this movie, like you wouldn't know he's a scientist. You'd think he's smart about the gamma radiation stuff that he's into, but not like a genius, because he just doesn't give off the science dude energy. He gives off like the
Yeah.
oh, I'm just the guy who's happens to be invited to the party energy. Like it's just like
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
just
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't
And it-
feel like a scientist. It doesn't even do anything
Yeah.
except for like that flower.
I know.
So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it's the same problem that we had with Spider-Man, Peter Parker, because you put him around science stuff, but he doesn't do science things.
Yeah.
That's the problem. like literally the beginning of this movie is him fighting. So you're like, oh, he's I don't know, martial artist or whatever. I don't know. But it's
Yeah.
not. Those two don't usually go together. Scientist and fighter, like they're very different. So, like, you wouldn't know. Like, it tells you he's a scientist, but it doesn't show you he's a scientist. Like, at the beginning, yes, he's, like, doing the stuff with the flower, and you got his... sorry.
You're good. Jesus.
You got his machine or whatever to mix up the blood or, like, the antidote. So, you know he knows what he's doing, but then we don't see that again until we get to, like, Mr. Blue's lab or whatever.
Yeah.
Where he's like, oh yeah, I know all this science stuff,
It's like,
but then, yeah, exactly. And I also found funny that Betty's supposed to be a scientist, and yet you
oh
don't
my
see
God.
her do science
Yeah.
stuff.
No.
So, like,
It just says Dr. Betty Ross. Like, is she a doctor though? Is she? Like, is he a doctor?
No.
Or anyone doctors in this movie? No. They're not.
no. It is. It's weird that like they tell you what the characters are, but they don't. They're showing you something completely different.
Yes.
So
It's very whack.
yeah.
So again, just horribly miscast, and I just wish Mark Ruffalo was it in this one. Or I wish they'd like, not now, but I feel like to a
Yeah.
degree, they should have just made this movie not part of Marvel. Like, I feel like they should have just had to be another one-off and then just have Mark Ruffalo be
Yeah.
Hulk starting off. Like, I wish they had just forgotten this movie existed and stuff like that, because it's like, it's no importance. I mean, I'm glad that we have Abomination now, but I wish that they would have done something else to introduce a new one. Like, I'm cool with it being the same actor. I think the actor does a good job, but I wish they wouldn't connect it back to this movie, because this movie's just nothing, really.
Yeah.
And to just, again, connect it back when the main character is a different actor, that gets confusing for people, because, again, you didn't even know that this was a part of the MCU, so it's just at that point where, like, I really feel like they should have just completely disregarded this movie. So
Yeah.
it sucks.
Honestly,
and
that's what I thought they did. And then they had MCU tie-ins, and I had no idea. So
yeah, so it's like, ugh, Jesus Christ.
yeah.
And for that whole Edward Norton recast thing, there's been a lot of rumors about why it happened, and like of so many things that people have said that may or may not be true. So don't take my word on it. I'm not entirely sure myself. But what I think happened, because I've kind of like come to my own conclusion over everything that I've read. What I think happened is that he was on the movie, and then he didn't like what they were doing, so he tried to rewrite it, and he tried to, like, because he's a scriptwriter, Edward Norton, so he would definitely want to rewrite the stuff and reshoot and do this and do that and have his own vision for the Hulk movie. Because, again, at this point, they're just trying to make a movie. They're not trying to do, like, a movie in a franchise. They're just trying to make a movie.
Yeah.
So I feel like he wanted to do things that would do well in, like, a one-off movie, while, like, the studio was like, no, we're doing this to try to make, like, a franchise, so we can't do this, we can't do this. And I've heard that Edward Norton, just in general, is hard to work with because he's very full of himself. So I'm assuming all those factors kind of, like, made them get like, hey, you're not, like, we can't work with you because you're trying to rewrite our movie to a way we don't want it to be, and you're being a dick when we're working with you. So and everyone keeps, like, I saw a bunch of stuff about money too, and I think that maybe had something to do with it, because money always has something to do with stuff. But I really just think it was like the creative control, and that just working with him was just not worth it. So I feel they just decided to go the easier route and to just get rid of him and recast him. And again, like, I think that was the best call, because
Definitely.
I mean, maybe if Edward Norton decided to rewrite the movie, it might have been good. Who knows? We'll never know. But it's at that point really where you're like, I would not want to see him ever return as, like, a Hulk or anything. Like, even in, like, now that we're back in, like, the multiverse stuff, if they ever did, like, a cameo to him, I'd be like, ugh. Like, I would not want to ever see him in this role again. So I'm happy that he's gone. It is, again, it's interesting about all, like, why he was recast and why they replaced everything and why they kind of, like, disregard this movie now. It's all interesting stuff. But it's just, like, I'm happy that he's gone, is what I'm trying to say. Is that I don't think he would have written a better movie, because I don't think there was ever really saving this movie. Like, I don't think anything could have. And I just feel bad and I don't feel bad for him, but I feel like, I don't know how to say it, but, like, during the movie, it didn't feel like he was trying. I felt like he was throwing, like, a temper tantrum because he couldn't get his way, so he just didn't act. So it makes me feel like, dude, what the hell's wrong with you? Like, if you should have just quit instead of just not giving anything to it, because now we have this shitty movie. So
I definitely see what you're going at. So I agree. Like, he doesn't act very well because he doesn't have many memorable scenes. So
honestly, there's no memorable scenes with him to me. Like,
honestly,
really none. So yeah. All right. So what would you give this one out of 10?
Oh boy, it's funny because it's so bad. So honestly, I didn't like it whatsoever. So like action gives it 1 point, I guess. So I'm gonna say honestly a 2. Like this movie is absolute garbage.
Yep, I believe that. Yeah, I'll give it the same ranking as you. Like, I was excited to watch it today because I'm like, okay, let's see how it compares to everything because I haven't seen it in many years. But like, after watching, I'm like, man, that was awful. So I'm never watching this movie again after this because there's no reason to. I'll give it the same score because it's just. Ugh. But like thinking about it too, it's like ranking it with everything, like it's hard because I hated Spider-Man 2 and I hated Spider-Man 3, but those ones I hate, but this one's just boring and just completely throwaway disregard that like I think it's my least favorite that we've seen so far just because it is nothing to me. Like at least Spider-Man 2 and 3 I can remember to a degree and be like, yeah, those sucked. But this one's just like, no, this one sucked too, but it's like boring bad, not bad. So to me that's even worse. So I think this is gonna be my least favorite one so far.
Yeah.
What about you?
I was gonna say, at least Spider-Man made you feel something, right?
yeah, exactly.
So yeah, when you put this movie and it's just so boring, you can't. I mean, it's not even on the same level as Spider-Man 2. Like,
no.
If you can't reach the level of Spider-Man 2, you have made a terrible movie.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and it's weird because it's like on the same level of Morbius. So, like in my opinion, they're just the same movie, just reskinned. And
literally.
It's so funny. Like,
but I enjoyed Morbius because it was funny. So it's like, oh god. Again, Morbius sucked too, but I can at least watch it because I think it's hilariously bad. But this one's like, dude, there's nothing to enjoy in this one really.
Yeah.
So yeah, and all the people saying it's underrated now is so weird to me because I saw like people talk about like, oh, it's the underrated one. I think it's just because they're mad about She-Hulk, but
probably honestly.
Yeah, but
I know it's weird to say, not weird to say. I enjoy She-Hulk much more than I enjoy this. So,
yeah,
like She-Hulk's better than this.
Yeah, and how sad is that?
I don't know, man. It's just this movie is just so bad that I mean, from a lore standpoint, I guess, watch the movie once and you're fine.
Yep. Or just legit just watch a summary on YouTube.
Yeah. That is much easier than sitting through this movie.
Yep.
Oh my god.
And again, like, if I was watching it by myself, I don't think I would even be able to finish it. No. Like, I'm glad that we watched them together because I would have turned it off like halfway. But thank you. I'm glad you were there.
Yeah, so. Honestly, because I would have been like, why am I watching this again?
Yeah.
Like, there's no point in watching it whatsoever, other than, you know, the 2 seconds of MCU Tony Stark. So
yeah, it's just nothing.
Yeah. Overall, just a dog shit movie.
Yeah. So it deserves to be at the bottom. Like, again, like I said earlier, we're gonna do like a whole ranking. So spoiler alert, this one's most likely gonna be at the bottom of Phase 1.
And I hope nothing is worse than this because, boy oh boy, I don't think anything can go worse than this.
Honestly. But maybe next week. Maybe next week we'll get something that's as bad. Because next week we're going to be reviewing X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah. So we got a 1-2 banger in a row, bro. Cause,
oh yay.
If you remember the Deadpool in that movie.
Oh no, now this one.
Yep. So we're gonna be having a lot of fun next week.
I thought you said we got to the good movies.
Iron Man. So that was a good one. Alright, but thankfully, after this movie, we get Iron Man 2 and Thor and First Class. So
thank
those
God.
ones aren't as bad. So I think we're done for the dog shit for now. Again, Thor, I think, is the only one that I don't remember that well, so I don't know. But from here on out until the Avengers, because, I mean, The Amazing Spider-Man came after the Avengers, so I guess we can include that in Phase 1 if you want. But, like, from here on out, I think we're good. Like, I don't think, I mean, after Origins Wolverine, of course. But I think we're not going to be miserable, so I hope.
Oh, boy.
But yeah,
I'm so excited.
Yay. So, yeah. Next week, unfortunately, we're going back to X-Men. But, yeah. So, this movie, overall, awful. Don't watch it. Please don't. It is not worth it. It is not underrated. It just sucks, okay?
Yeah.
Bad movie. So, yeah. That's all I gotta say. I'm pretty sure that's all you gotta say, too. We've actually talked about this for a lot longer than I thought we would. So, yeah. Incredible Hulk, awful. Next week, you can join us for watching a movie that may be worse or just as bad. Who knows? X-Men Origins Wolverine. So, thank you all for watching. This will come out on Wednesday, so next Wednesday you can check that out. If you want, I made a playlist of all the other podcasts of these movies we've done so far, so make sure to go check that out to see our thoughts on all the other movies. And, yeah, so we will see you next week. So, see you later.
Bye.